Welcome back to IGN Live, coming to you from Gamescom in Germany. It's time to check in with Borderlands, the pre-sequel. James and Joel are here to finally show us Claptrap.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Damon.
Oh, thanks for coming. Ever since you guys announced Claptrap, people have been excited. They want to see it, want to check it out, see how he plays.
We wanted to talk about Claptrap since the beginning, but you know, we got to hold some things out.
Yeah, I think it was one of those really great teases for us when we announced the game, and then we go, and these are the characters, and here's Claptrap, but we're not talking about him.
Yeah, right. They were like, what? Okay, so here he is. We're filling out his skill tree.
Yeah. So Claptrap, like all the other playable characters, will have 3 skill trees. Each skill tree will focus on a different aspect of his character. We have Boom Trap, which focuses a lot more on explosive damage, and has this really awesome capstone skill where when you activate his action skill, which is Vault Hunter EXE. Side note is that Vault Hunter EXE is sort of this new program that's been installed on Claptrap that will randomly select an ability for him to use depending on the situation.
Yeah, technically it's still classed as malware by Hyperion, but you know, it's the best we could get.
Sure.
And when you have the capstone skill in the Boom Trap tree, he will activate this big pirate ship mode that fires cannonballs everywhere. This is the capstone skill for I Love You Guys, which is much more of a co-op centric mode. And with that one, it's called High Fives. And Claptrap will put his hand out, and if you give him a high five in co-op, everyone will get a buff.
Oh, cool.
But if you don't reciprocate, then it activates another version of high fives called Screw You Guys, and only Claptrap will get the buffs.
Okay, nice. So I imagine playable character now, do you have to record a lot more dialogue for Claptrap?
Yes.
Well, one of the big things for this game is we wanted all the playable characters to feel more unique to actual players. So every single one of them is going to respond differently to every NPC. They'll have banter between one another. So like Wilhelm is going to sometimes go off at Claptrap because he doesn't like him or finds him annoying, or Athena may as well. It was a big motivation for us to make them feel more personal.
Yeah, and what's funny in this with Claptrap is there are several Claptraps that you'll see throughout the game, and other people will react with a sort of annoyance to them, and Claptrap himself will have his own sort of fourth wall breaking revelations about what his character is. It's very funny.
You saw just then, so Claptrap has these action packages which unlock further parts of his software, and that one was Clap in the Box. So you may activate his action skill, it will analyze the battlefield, and then determine the best course of action is to have a giant bomb that's going to go off and you have no choice about it. But the thing is, if you're paying attention to Claptrap, he can be really powerful. If you get that and you go to a group of enemies really quickly, you'll take them all out at once.
Yeah, sure.
There's an action package called Rubber Ducky, where not just Claptrap, but everyone in your team will get rubber duckies around them and bounce uncontrollably around the environment, which could seem annoying, but because we're in low gravity and we have this slam attack, if you're bouncing really high and you hold that crouch button, you just gotta slam and do area of effect all over the place.
Yeah, the key with Claptrap is that you have to be flexible. Everything that he does is purposeful. You just have to find how to use it. So if you were planning on maybe Gun Wizard, where you have an increased fire rate, but instead you end up with Torque Fiesta, where you're just throwing grenades nonstop. You need to react to that, and you need to adjust your plan. But then sometimes you get something really, really awesome, like his disco ball that shoots lasers everywhere, or the pirate ship mode.
I think the first question I ever got about this game when we were doing interviews was, are we going to have a meat unicycle? And Claptrap actually does have a meat unicycle action package where you can just do melee with this big axe. And again, you can really take advantage of that because you're going to be able to do really quick damaging melee attacks across the battlefield.
Right here, he just deployed a minion trap, which is basically a miniature Claptrap that has rockets that, from the turret for action from Borderlands 2. So some of our action packages are definitely inspired by other characters from the previous Borderlands games.
Now, Claptrap is obviously shorter than a human. Have you lowered the camera closer to the ground?
Yes, it's a little bit lower.
I thought so.
Yeah, he has a whole different perspective on everything. Our third skill tree for Claptrap, it's kind of the more advanced one for him. It's all about unlocking these subroutines. So you can choose to go down the tree and make yourself potentially more powerful with pistols or submachine guns or shotguns or melee, and these can activate over time, and for the player that's paying attention, if you switch to a pistol when that happens, then you're going to be able to do really a huge amount of damage during that time.
Sure.
And the capstone, James already mentioned it, unlocks the action package, which potentially spawns a disco ball above his head, which shoots lasers out everywhere. But also, every time you cycle through a subroutine, it shoots out this rainbow wave, which buffs everyone in your team.
Claptrap's kind of this interesting situation where like he can be very powerful, but he's inherently full of fail also. So, you know, whatever, and sort of like a reward for moments where you have to deal with the rubber ducky mode. We want to do things like that where your co-op partners will definitely appreciate you being around.
Sure.
Yeah, it really brings a random element to every battle. I mean, having at least one Claptrap in your party can make it change really, really quickly. Even as the player, it's kind of exciting. Every time you activate the action skill, you see it analyzing. You don't exactly know what's going to happen, so it's a surprise every time.
Yeah.
Do you have data for from playtesting what percentage of players choose Claptrap? Is he a popular character?
What we've known is that there are some people that have a definite preference for him, especially people that really enjoyed characters like Gage the Necromancer or Krieg the Psycho, because we introduced a lot of more, I think, like higher concepts with what you can do with co-op play with them, and so those people tend to gravitate towards them. But we've always kind of made sure that whenever we did the focus testing sessions, that we had each character represented so we can make sure that they're meshing well together. I think one of the fun things about Claptrap is actually that when he's in an area that has no oxygen, his O2 meter does not deplete.
Sure.
So he's basically immune to the thin atmosphere area. He can still use his oxygen the same as anyone else could that has an Oz kit, but it also kind of allows him to be more useful than some of the other players at times, because if someone's low on oxygen, they might not want to do their double jumps or revive someone using their O2, but Claptrap still can, which is a bit of a game changer.
But he feels a little bit left out, that everyone else might be suffocating him, and he wants to be part of the team.
So whenever he runs outside, he will still do like a even though it's not actually necessary. It's all psychosomatic. So right here you can actually see the pirate mode is in effect, and whenever you fire your gun, a cannonball will go off.
Yeah, it actually is to the tune of 1812 Overture.
That's well,
so right at the end, it's boom, 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 boom.
Here, the viewers will be able to hear the audio. We unfortunately don't get to hear the audio, so I'm missing out on all the good lines from Claptrap right now.
I think what I really love about this skill is sort of the absurdity of it, not just because of how crazy it is that he has these cannons, but like whenever you're trying to take down a flying enemy, like one of the jet fighters, and you're trying to line it up so you can take this highly advanced machine down with a cannonball.
Yeah.
And that's whenever you really feel like the usefulness of this guy.
That's Andrew.
Yeah, you can play with as many Claptraps as you want.
And so yeah, like right now you can see that he's about to do a little slam. And
oh, he bounced off his head.
He didn't quite do enough, but he bounced right off of him. A little bit of the slam in action.
And obviously, placing the game on the moon provides different gameplay opportunities, different mechanics.
Oh yeah.
But why was the original decision made to take the game to the moon?
Well, we had a lot of fan feedback that we were going through, especially as we were winding down the work on the Tiny Tina DLC from Borderlands 2. And that was around the time that we ran into the guys from 2K Australia. And we're like, okay, well, these are the things that we really want to do for the fans. And so the two most popular ones were learning more about Handsome Jack and going to the moon, specifically the moonshot facility. But we knew that if we were going to be up in space, we might as well explore this other area also. Yeah. And that's kind of where this all started.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of our mission statement from the beginning, but from there it turned into, we need to have low gravity, we have low atmosphere, and bringing in low gravity, we knew it had to go across every single system. We didn't just want it to be a gimmick, it's integral to the gameplay. So every single character has skills which can make them more powerful when they're up in the air, or make their slam more powerful. We have this new piece of jig with the Oz kit, which you can add cryo or electrical damage when you slam down on people, and the oxygen system as well, allowing you to do this double jump. We wanted to make sure that people enjoyed every single aspect of it.
It was really important for us that the moon felt different from Pandora also.
Sure.
It would really suck if you went somewhere else and it was like the exact same stuff all over again. So we really wanted to add some new features that made it feel different, and also kind of felt organic, that it made sense.
Who are we playing as here now?
This is Nisha. She was the Sheriff of Lunchwood in Borderlands 2. She is basically our cowboy concept. all the really cool features that you imagine from movies like Tombstone and the Sergio Leone films, all that good stuff. That's all represented here. In fact, this is probably one of my favorite skills for her, which is in her middle tree, the capstone skill, that you get to duplicate a pistol, and so you basically get to gun Zerk with pistols once you have that skill unlocked. So instead of it just being for like a few seconds, like you did with Salvador with any gun, instead it's with these. She has this other skill tree called Rifle Woman that focuses on hip firing and gives you massive rewards for critical damage. So having things like Jacob's revolvers is a natural choice, because with your Jacob's revolvers you already get a high crit reward. So you stack that with her skills, and she is definitely our powerhouse. She does though have like lower health to kind of balance it out, so she's a bit of a glass cannon, but when you're clearing everything out in the room in a few seconds, it's okay if you have lower health.
Something we saw before come up on stream was you've been frag trapped. She got Torque Fiesta, so whoever was playing as Claptrap unlocked Torque Fiesta, and that affected everyone in the team, and we have it come up as you've been frag trapped, so then she's just going to throw out grenades uncontrollably.
We're fighting a boss here.
Yeah, so right here you are fighting the bosun, who is sort of the new commander of a derelict ship called the Drakensberg. The bosun is one of many people that worked for Dahl, which was this gun manufacturer. Right. They worked for Dahl on the moon, but Dahl pulled out during an event called Krakening, which was when the surface of the moon started to crack, which is why in Borderlands 2, when you look up in the sky, you can see all these magma cracks on the surface. Well, Dahl pulled out, leaving everyone behind. And so some people went a little crazy. The bosun and his men took over the Drakensberg, and you're coming here in this mission to steal an AI core from them, because Jack needs it so he can militarize his robots, so he can take them up to the Helios, the moonshot facility, and reclaim it.
Are we in the moonshot facility right now?
We are not. We are on the moon surface on a broken down ship called the Drakensberg.
Yeah, this is actually fairly close to the demo that we showed at E3.
Okay. Yes.
So you're moving toward trying to get this military AI. You actually would have seen the distance, this crashed huge spaceship.
Which is really cool, because in the maps leading up to it, you can see it off in the distance. That way you always know what your objective is and where you're going. The bosun fight can actually be kind of a tough fight. He's got this very powerful shield. Yeah. You have to break through before you can get to him, and he has plenty of his minions kind of on standby to help out. On the plus side, though, it also gives you plenty of chances of second wind. And also, as long as you've got a buddy around to help you, revive you as well, that's helpful. Claptrap actually revived Nisha earlier using his oxygen, because O2 isn't just a weapon, it's a way to save your teammates as well, which is really cool, and it does it a little bit faster. So you kind of have this tactical decision, especially in areas where it's thin atmosphere. How much does my oxygen matter to me? Is it enough that I want to keep it, or would I rather have my partners in sooner?
Was Claptrap just wearing a nurse's hat for a moment?
Yes, whenever he's reviving you.
You guys actually have an actor from Mad Max the Road Warrior in the game, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
We actually did a whole bunch of voice recording in Australia, because people notice when they go up to the moon, it's full of Australian accents, at least. It was this accidental thing that happened during the development of the game, but it worked out really nicely, because it is a completely different place to Pandora, and there's different culture up there. So we just kind of ran with it, with making this Australian culture up on the moon. And yeah, one of the voice actors for the Dahl fighters is actually the guy who flew the gyrocopters in Mad Max.
Yeah, so he's playing a similar character
here?
Is that right?
Yeah. It was really cool, because, I mean, Mad Max was definitely one of those influential films for us on, when we were thinking about like what kind of place like Pandora was. It's nice to be able to give a little love back to some people that inspired us.
So have you seen the trailer for the new Mad Max?
Yes.
Fury Road?
That looks pretty epic.
What do you guys think? It
looks
good.
awesome.
Yeah. Although it wasn't filmed in Australia.
Well, yeah.
Because the desert where they were going to film it, it blooms with flowers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Somehow Mad Max tripping through daisies just wouldn't quite fit.
Probably not.
His character, I don't think. Borderlands, the pre-sequel, is out October 14th in North America.
Yes.
16th in Australia, and the 17th in Europe.
Yes.
You spell it with an exclamation point. Is that the official spelling of Borderlands, the pre-sequel?
That's because it's action-packed.
Oh, yeah, okay. But so everyone remember at home when you're writing about Borderlands, the pre-sequel online, remember to add that exclamation point in there.
Yes.
James and Joel, thank you so much for coming by the show.
Damon, thanks a lot. My pleasure.
Game looks awesome. Stay tuned. So much more to come from IGN Live, from Gamescom, presented by Dead Island 2, right after these messages.